Dole or development, freebies, benefits or bribes, what you might call it, electioneering has changed and so has the voter. And I can say it firsthand of being on the ground in this 5-state election over time. You can see how transactional the voter on ground has become. Clearly, which has changed the kind of campaigning or what political parties have to offer. The old metrics of caste, religion, I'm not saying they don't exist, but there is something bigger, where the voter will look at you and what you have to offer. Well, let's cut across for this debate to our political panelists this evening. Joining me, Ms. Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party; Mahima Singh, National Spokesperson, Congress; Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist and commentator, election analyst and researcher. Before I cut across to our political panelists, I'd like to go to Mr. Amitabh Tiwari if he's with us. All right, we don't have Amitabh Tiwari. We're going to cut across to him in just a while. But Sanju, let me come to you. You know, not many elections ago, I would reckon 2.5 years back, 2020, the Prime Minister in his speech had spoken of something he called revdi culture. Sanju, what has happened over time is, agar aur koi kare to revdi aur agar aap kare to welfarism.
You do your homework thoroughly before every show of yours, and so do I, especially when I'm on your show. So let me just tell you this, that in 2013, there was the famous, Subramaniam Balaji versus the state of Tamil Nadu case, wherein the Supreme Court, the matter went up all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that in a country like India, welfarism is a must, and, doling out election promises cannot be said to be something that is non-kosher, and people who say that, it is criminal to promise stuff prior to election and action should be taken as per Article 1, Section 123 of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951, the Supreme Court said nothing doing. Section 123 of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951 lagu nahi hota hai because you need to give guarantees and promises that are deliverable. This is the Supreme Court judgment in 2013. Now, since January 2022 and even last Wednesday, the entire matter has come up before Justice Chandrachud. And I think you will see a lot of back and forth happening on this count, because the line between what is revdi and what is welfarism is very thin. And it can often tend to be subjective and get lost. And, it's very tough to be objective in a developing country like India and say, ki nahi bhai, hum muft ka ration nahi denge, muft ki bijli nahi denge, muft ka pani nahi denge. But then what should be done? And what exactly is revdi culture and why is it different from welfarism? I will tell you, and I will wear my hat as both the national spokesperson of BJP and the hat of an economist. And I'll tell you that the line is this. Himachal ke election se pehle, and I have studied the Himachal budget before coming on your show and the Karnataka budget. Himachal budget ke pehle, we did not have OPS. Himachal election ke pehle, pardon me. The Congress stormed to power primarily on the premise of getting the old pension system back. I was just looking at the budget numbers for this financial year put out by the Congress government, and they say that hamara annual revenue is around 36,000 crore in Himachal. Hamara annual expenditure is around 46,000 crore, which is fine. For a small state like Himachal Pradesh, a 10,000 crore budget deficit is kosher. But galti kahan ho rahi hai? In fact, this galti can prove to be very costly. Is the fact that the Himachal government has admitted, the Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu government has admitted that out of a revenue of 36,000 crore every year, 80% is committed expenditure. Committed expenditure ka matlab salaries, pension and interest on loans taken. You can neither stop paying salaries to government employees, you cannot stop paying pension to employees, you cannot stop paying interest on the loans taken, because otherwise you will be called a state that has defaulted. Basically, 36,000 crore salana income se roughly 29,000 crore is committed expenditure. Isko bolte hai revdi. And the entire equation jagmaga gaya once the NPS was replaced by OPS. Because out of this committed expenditure, the biggest chunk is taken by pension liability. This is called revdism. Yeah, this is called welfarism. Yeah, aapki janata decide karegi. But the BJP was also giving pensions to government employees, but it was doing so under the NPS, where the liability was a funded liability. In the OPS case, the liability becomes an unfunded liability. The state is thrown into the throes of a spiraling debt burden. The fiscal health, the budgetary deficit, the revenue deficit are spiraling out of control. This is the classic case of how welfarism has turned into ravery culture when you replace NCS with OPS. And just in 10 seconds more, I'm not saying that we have not promised clean drinking water, electricity, unemployment allowance. Like I said, all that is perhaps kosher, given the nature of the beast in terms of where the economy is. We are doing exceedingly well, and there is a path that has to be taken. But Karnataka, I will just, and this is based on the India Today analysis, one of the best analysis that I saw for the Karnataka Congress government taking charge. इन्होंने बोला बिजली भी मुफ्त, पानी भी मुफ्त, bus rides भी मुफ्त, electricity मुफ्त, and they said 7 kg ration भी मुफ्त देंगे to every woman in the household. Now, just in 10 seconds, I'll tell you. When we were in power, Preeti, the annual income of Karnataka used to be between 1.9 to 2 lakh crore, and the annual expenditure used to be in the region of 2.5 to 2.6 lakh crore. And for an economy like Karnataka, the size of Karnataka's economy is 26 lakh crore. So running a budget deficit of 50 to 60,000 crore is pretty much okay. Now, once the Congress started implementing its reveries, and I don't call it welfarism because the fiscal health has been brutally impaired. B.K. Shivkumar said that because of our promises of XYZ, the expenditure now will not be 2.5 lakh crore, it will be annually 4 lakh crore. And despite 4 lakh crore of expenditure, we don't have money to spend on development.
Sanju Verma, that's why you've given out a lot of figures over the course of the last 4.5 minutes. But let me also tell you, what you're blaming the Congress for, that they dispense reverie while you look at welfarism. Let me, allow me to also give you a figure. Madam, do you know the last 10 months of the Ladli Behna Yojana in Madhya Pradesh has cost the Madhya Pradesh government, which is in debt, how much? 11,000 crores. Just the last 10 months. Sanju Verma. Now, the payout has started from June 2023. It's a direct cash transfer. I have been on ground where if you go and speak to the Adivasis, they say it's a great scheme because they haven't seen 1,250 rupees coming in every 10th of every month into their bank accounts. You go to Bhopal and you speak to your bureaucracy, they are clueless from where you're going to get the money from because all your other schemes have stopped at the cost of dispensing this 11,000 crore over the last 10 months alone. So what you're blaming the Congress for, Sanju Verma, you find yourself equally guilty, but I want to bring in right now. I'll come back to you, ma'am. You've spoken. Ma'am, I'll come back to you on this question. Allow me to open the debate and I will come back. It'll give you 2 more minutes to think about it, what the answer is. But let me open the debate to your other two panelists, Mahima Singh and Amitabh Tiwari. Mahima Singh, I'll come to you first. In terms of what you are giving out, there is a fine line, as Sanju Verma says, between welfarism and offering bribes to the people. However, if you look at what your manifesto in each of the states is, especially if you look at it in Rajasthan, it's a carbon copy of each other. You're offering 500 rupees per cylinder, BJP is offering 450 per cylinder. What's the difference? You're trying to buy votes.
Jai Hind, thank you for the opportunity, Preeti. And I would like to straight away point to the fact that we have been talking about guarantees for past so many years. We have fulfilled our guarantees in Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka very recently. And in Rajasthan especially, we have fulfilled 96% of our manifesto from the year 2018. Right now, when I was listening to the BJP spokesperson, it seemed very obvious. All the noise seemed very obvious because of the lackluster performance of the BJP, both at the center and at the states. When we talk of Rajasthan specifically, the manifesto is an outcome of a document called Vision 2030. Similarly, in all the other states, the only operative strategy of the Congress party of forming a manifesto has been taking stakeholders into account, doing Jan Ki Baat, having a two-way dialogue, finding out what do the people want. You see the women, the girls, the children of these states want English medium schools. So we have promised that. They want cheaper gas cylinders wherein, there's a fair, transparent arrangement of, the payments. So we have promised 500 rupees per gas cylinder and we've been delivering. So it's not that we are promising it right now. And if you talk about copying, After we started giving out 500 rupees per cylinder in Rajasthan, the BJP has come out similarly in Madhya Pradesh and other states, promising a little lesser than that. We promised 3,000 rupees MSP on rice. Then the BJP came up with 3,100 per kg of basmati rice thereafter. Whereas the BJP itself has stopped the export of basmati rice. So many paradoxes will be found out if you get into the details of what the BJP is promising. Wherever the Congress is promising, we've promised the old pension schemes. We've been able to deliver that. We've promised, free travel to the women. We've been able to deliver that. The only ground being the policy, the strategy, the economic policy, which has been put together by experts in consultation with the stakeholders, unlike the BJP. Because the BJP, before coming to power in 2014, not even in 2019, I'm talking about, they promised 2 crore jobs per year. They've not even been able to give 2 lakh.
But Mahima Singh, as I bring in Amitabh Tiwari into this, you might say that you're the real McCoy, but it's not. Political history stands testimony, whether you like it or not. The real McCoy of this is the Aam Aadmi Party. You copied the Aam Aadmi Party's free travel for women, which they did in Delhi. You're talking about free electricity. It was the Aam Aadmi Party who started it. So the beast has been unveiled by the Aam Aadmi Party. And then you've seen that it's worked. And then all of you have followed suit. Let's look at it from that perspective. But I will also pose a question for which I will come back to you, Mahima. Allow me, please allow me, ma'am. And I'll pose a question because the question I asked Sanju Verma about the 11,000 crore for 10 months of the current fiscal year has gone into Ladli Behna Yojana. You've promised 1,500 rupees a month under the Nari Samman Yojana. Where are you going to get the money from? It's a question. I'll come back to you. But Amitabh Tiwari, to open out the debate where the voter is concerned. Amitabh Tiwari, extremely transactional today. I was on ground and I was speaking to young women of the age of 21 or 22, where they're actually thinking not on ideology, not on which leader they like. They're actually thinking scooty chahiye ki laptop chahiye. Because the scooty is being offered by the Bharatiya Janata Party in Rajasthan and a laptop is being offered by the Congress in Rajasthan.
See, India has high income inequality. The urban income is more than 60% of the rural income. Post-COVID, there is acute economic pain. So there is a need for welfare schemes. Now there is a difference, a thin line, as Sanju is saying, between welfarism and freebies. Now the Supreme Court has opened a Pandora's box. I think the first thing which it needs to do is to define freebies. And in my opinion, I'll tell you what a freebie is. Ladli Behna Yojana, 1250 rupees to 1.32 crore women whose family income is less than 2.5 lakh is not a freebie, it's a welfare scheme. But if it was given to all the 2.7 crore voters, including women coming from middle and rich class, then it becomes a freebie for them. That is number one. Number two, we are seeing that these schemes or the welfare schemes, the political parties are realizing just before the elections to, of course, influence the voters. Now in UP, 20% of BJP voters voted to BJP because they were beneficiaries in schemes. In Karnataka, 10% of Congress voters voted because of these guarantees. Now they have a substantial impact on the budget, as we have mentioned. The annual expenditure, if BJP gives 1250 rupees, is 20,000 crores. And Mamaji has said in some of his speeches that he will increase to 3,000 rupees gradually. Now the receipt of Madhya Pradesh is 2.25 lakh crore, which means 10% almost of the entire revenue of Madhya Pradesh is going to be directed towards the Ladli Behna Yojana. The fiscal deficit is 55,000 crores. It's not less, 4%.
And Amitabh Tiwari, before they go into election, Madhya Pradesh as a state was in debt of 3.4 lakh crores.
Correct. So what we need is the election commission, after the MCC is invoked, do you know that all official advertisements have to be passed by the election commission? They check it. But election commission does not check the manifestos of political parties. Today, a political party can promise that they will ferry people to the moon in a Chandrayaan and it will not be contested. Correct. So there is a lacuna in the system which needs to be fixed by the Supreme Court as well as the election commission, but they are also moving around in circles. First of all, the definition of freebie is important. Then I think some sort of mechanism where you bar political parties from announcing any schemes, probably some months before the
Right.
elections, like the Raitu Bandhu cash
Right.
transfer has been stopped. I mean, in Odisha, under Kalia, 10 to 15,000 rupees were transferred to people's accounts in the 2019 Vidhan Sabha election, just before the polls.
Well, okay. I'll come back to you, Sanju Verma. Appreciate the patience. So now coming back to it, 20,000 crores is what you're hoping to give if you come back to power. Where the Ladli Behna Yojana is concerned, you're already under debt in Madhya Pradesh of 3.4 lakh crores. So how are you going to fund it? Number one. Number two, where you talk about the other Revdi. So, okay, this is welfareism, but the scooty you're offering, Sanju Verma, in Rajasthan is Revdi. The 450 rupees cylinder you're offering in Rajasthan is Revdi. There's some Revdi and there's some welfareism. Is that what we are talking about?
Preeti, with no offense to you, you keep talking about Ladli Behna Yojana, you keep talking about Revdi in the context of Madhya Pradesh. Are you then suggesting that offering cylinders at 400 rupees, which is what the Ashok Gehlot government started doing last year,
500.
that is not Revdi?
Yeah.
That is not
I agree
Revdi
with
by
you,
your
madam.
standard?
I agree with you.
Because
I agree
you did
with
not
you.
ask that question to the Congress.
That's the first question I asked. If you don't know, that was my question.
Giving cylinders at 400 rupees is Revdism.
Sanju Verma, you're not listening to the questions. You're not listening to the question that I'm asking the Congress. That was my first question. Yes.
Preeti, you have to ask a question and then be ready for a rebuttal from my side. If you keep interrupting me and
Please,
you
ma'am,
say,
go ahead.
your audience cannot fathom what you are asking and what I am responding. So please, I just have this to say. You are right about the debt figure. That is why taken the average debt figure. Because, taking the debt number of last 1 year of Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh will not do justice to any sane-minded voter who's, looking at what the results will unfold on the 3rd of December by way of results. The average debt of Madhya Pradesh is 2.5 lakh crore. The average economy size is 15 lakh crore. And this was for Rajasthan. The average debt has been, the average size of the economy has been 15 lakh crore. But there is a difference. While in the case of Madhya Pradesh, the average debt has been 2.5 lakh crore. In the case of Rajasthan, Preeti, the average debt to GSDP has been the highest because the average debt of Rajasthan under Gehlot government in the last 5 years has been 5.5 lakh crore. So let us compare apples with apples. मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार का एवरेज डेट 2.5 लाख करोड़ है, राजस्थान की सरकार का एवरेज डेट 5.5 लाख करोड़ है, which means the debt to GSDP of the Madhya Pradesh government under Shivraj Singh Chauhan is 16.6%, 17% debt to GSDP average figure, whereas the average figure in the case of Rajasthan is 37%, 5.5 lakh crore on an economy size which is 15 lakh crore. So let's be very clear. When you are giving money for Ladli Behna Yojana, when you are giving money to 57 lakh lactating mothers under the Matru Vandana Yojana, when you are opening 44 lakh, taps for bringing fruition Pradhan Mantri's Jal Jeevan Mission, that is welfareism. But when you are impairing the fiscal health of your state, you are a state which has 9% plus inflation rate consecutively for the last 6 months, and an unemployment rate of 33.7% on an average. And when I say you, I mean Rajasthan. Then you are giving Revdi, but you are not even ensuring that the deliverables reach the targeted beneficiaries. And you are doing that at the expense of throwing your state into a spiraling debt burden, poor fiscal health, largest unemployment rate, and largest inflation rate consecutively of 9.2% plus.
Okay.
And I would like to tell you, just last but not the least, यहाँ किसी ने unemployment 2 crore jobs just today I have written a lengthy 3,000 word opinion editorial in the first post. Did Modi government create 2 crore jobs per year?
Right.
Yes or no? I would urge some of the illiterate panelists.
Mahima Singh, your question on the jobs is in that editorial, but let me come back to you right now, Mahima Singh, and bring you into this conversation, because I'll tell you, Madhya Pradesh is in debt. The Ladli Behna Yojana could be a fiscal disaster for the state. But your government in Rajasthan is no better. Why do I say that? Because your policies over the last 6 months has saddled your state with the highest quantum of debt in the country. Mahima Singh. So a guarantee card might be on offer, and there might be multiple guarantee cards for the voter to pick on, but it comes at a huge cost.
Preeti, when you pick up from where the last government left, which is what the BJP actually keeps on crying about all the time, let me say that Rajasthan was under the BJP rule. And from there, where we have picked up, I think the Rajasthan, the revenue, the fiscal has improved. If you look at the national debt, today every Indian's debt, the debt per Indian, is 2.25 times from what it used to be before 2014, and that's a matter of fact. The BJP spokesperson shamelessly talks about the 2 crore jobs. They will not admit. See, the problem with the BJP is, we'll admit that we have...
Can we just go one by one? Madam, you had your free...
Now the indiscipline will come.
Mahima Singh, can I just get Mahima Singh? Can I just get Mahima Singh? Mahima Singh, please make your point.
Yeah.
And don't get personal, madam. Yes, please go ahead.
No, you see, the BJP spokesperson, when she talks about, no, I did not get personal, Preeti. I think I'm talking about what the BJP spokesperson has pointed out. She's talking about the jobs. And let me just say that it is, a problem with the BJP. We say we have manifested 95% of the promises made in 2018. 5% still remain unfulfilled, and we shall strive to fulfill them. The BJP will say we had promised 100%, but we have fulfilled 1000%. That is the problem with the BJP.
All right, you fulfilled that, but Amitabh, right.
The BJP will talk about the judge, but on the floor of the Parliament House, we have no data on that.
Amitabh Tiwari, 20 seconds that I want to come to you. May I bring in Amitabh? Madam, there's a problem with your audio as well. Amitabh Tiwari, I want to bring you in for just quick 20 seconds. Maybe you can reflect on the psyche of the voter, how it's changed. Because yes, caste lines, religion, yes, but very transactional now.
See, why this is happening? Because the voter realizes that there is significant leakage in the system. In Karnataka, the election was 40% commission. So the voter is saying, don't spend money on things where there will be corruption, transfer money directly into our account.
To us, you're right.
We will buy the uniforms, we will buy the pencil boxes, etc. So that there is no leakage. That is number one. And when a voter is voting, he is not going to compare the debt of Madhya Pradesh versus...
Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan. Yeah, he really doesn't care. He looks at what's coming into his account. Right. I'm afraid that's all the time that we have for now. Appreciate all 3 of you for joining us. Thank you. But it's a debate that's going to continue in television studios, especially after that last vote is counted on the 3rd of December, because then there is going to be a way of looking at if it was actually the revenue, benefit, welfare schemes or bribes, whichever way you look at it, counted in that vote count.